Hi, welcome to Muzzle First. So today I want to talk a little bit about my ATI FX45. This is the one they call the Fatboy. Alright, so this is manufactured by Shooter's Arm Manufacturing in the Philippines. You can see their stamp right there on the frame. And it's imported by ATI. And in the Philippines, when Shooter's Arm manufactures this, they call this the Crusader. And American Tactical rebrands this the FX45 Fatboy LW. And LW stands for lightweight because it has an aluminum alloy frame. So when you buy this in the Philippines, you get 2 magazines with it. But when you buy it from ATI, you only get one single magazine. This magazine is a 12-round double-stack 45 ACP magazine that's made to fit this gun. The problem is you can't buy these magazines. They're just not available for sale anywhere. Every once in a while you'll see them pop up on auction sites. But they're outrageous. People want, 60, 70, 80 bucks for them, and they get it because they're not available. Fortunately, show you the original magazine again. Fortunately, they're not the only company that makes a double stack 45 ACP 1911 style handgun. Para-Ordnance also makes one. Para-Ordnance makes a P14 handgun that is very similar to this in size and function, but it has a 14-round magazine, hence the P14. If we take a look at the original magazine here, alright, this is a 12-round double stack, but you'll notice it says P14 45 ACP made in Italy. This right here is a 14-round double stack 45 ACP magazine for the Para-Ordnance P14. Let's take a look at the side of this magazine. If I can get the glare to stop here. There we go. You'll see it says P14 45 ACP made in Italy. Once again, 14-round double stack. So if we compare these side by side, so we can get a look here at the witness holes. There we go. The witness holes line up on these. If I can actually get the top of them lined up, there we go. So when you line up the feed ramps on these, you'll notice the feed lips, you'll notice that the witness holes in the back line up. It's just that the Para-Ordnance magazine is longer. Of course, it holds 14 rounds. It's going to be longer. Let's take a look at the front of the magazine. We'll try to do the same thing here. Once again, you'll notice that the witness holes in the front of the magazine line up, and you'll also notice that the slot cut in the magazine that locks it into the frame is also lines up. And one last thing I want to show you. If you look at the side of these magazines, both of them, they both say P14 45 ACP made in Italy. So the belief out there, and actually I want to give credit where credit is due. One of my subscribers actually brought this to my attention. AK Builder 762. So if you want to go check out his channel, I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. But he actually brought this to my attention. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. The belief out there is that they actually did not manufacture this magazine specifically for this gun. The belief is that they took one of these 14-round Para-Ordnance magazines and cut it down. And that is actually probably what happened. If you look at the bottom of this magazine, you'll see how it's got heat marks. You can see that? Where the actual bluing, the finish on this magazine has been damaged by the heat. Alright? So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this magazine apart. So we know when the outside of this magazine is good. We know they're identical. And I'll tell you right now, they cycle just fine. I did take these to the range, and they cycle fine. Both these magazines work, all 14 rounds without a hiccup. Let's take them apart, and I want to see. Well, let's see if they just look the same on the inside. All right. So this is the 12-round magazine. These do fly apart if you don't grab that spring. All right. See how they come apart there? All right. So that is the follower. That does come off of that spring. Fairly simple there. All right. This is one of the Para-Ordnance magazines. Let's just take a look at this real quick. I want to show this to you. Alright, so let's take a look at the followers first. There's only one difference that I notice in this follower. On the bottom right here, the one from the Para-Ordnance magazine is stamped a 1, And the one for the FX45 magazine, the 12 round magazine, is stamped 2. Alright? So I can tell you both of these magazines, the follower is stamped 1. I'm not sure what that signifies, but they are both stamped 1. You'll see they're both got the proper cuts right here for the last round hold open, and they do hold open on last round. As far as I can tell, these followers are identical. I don't see a difference in there. Let's take a look at the floor plate on these. Once again, they're identical. I don't really see a difference here. Of course, the 12 round magazine is older and it's a little bowed because I've taken it apart a few times, but they're identical. And last part here, let's take a look at the springs. Once again, let's see if I can get the whole thing in there. It's the same spring. So they did not cut down the spring when they cut down the magazine. They only cut down the magazine body. And let's take a look at that real quick here. So one thing that I will show you, see if we can get a look inside here. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up, but see, it is nice and shiny inside because I do keep them clean. The inside's the same way. You can see that there is some damage to the bluing where it was heated, and this surface right here is not perfectly smooth. It's a little rough, and you can kind of see where it was actually bent right there. I'm not sure how well that's going to come through. I hope you can see that as well as I can see it sitting here. But you can see where they actually bent those lips over to form that. On the Para Ordnance magazine, those folds are perfect. There's no irregularities at all. There's no flaw in the bluing. They're cut perfect. So the belief is that they actually cut down these magazine bodies to make that 12 round magazine, and I believe that's what they did. So the good thing for anybody that has one of these ATI FX45 Fatboys, you now have spare magazines for them. You can buy these Para Ordnance P14 magazines for just a little over 20 bucks a piece. And these two right here came from Top Gun Supply, I believe is the name of the company. They were about $22 a piece. And I'll probably order a couple more now that I have tested these. I've took them to the range and I've shot them, and they work. They work just good. They work just as good as the original. That's all I wanted to show you. There is an option out there if you have one of these guns and you want a spare magazine for it, and you weren't lucky enough to get in on the spare magazines that ATI had when they originally brought these in. There is hope for you now. You can go out and buy these P14 magazines, and you can at least have spare parts for your 12 round magazine, and that is critical. To be able to buy this spring, even if you bought one of these magazines just used for parts, you can now rebuild this magazine body if you need to. You can rebuild the tube. That's it. This has been Muzzle First. If you've got any questions, you can send me an email at muzzlefirst@gmail.com. Visit my website, www.muzzlefirst.com. Like the video, subscribe, share if you like. There's also a spot below the video where you can leave your comments. Thank you, and you have a good day.